Peekaboo. I see you.
We have harvested the ultimate weapon. Makes the Ebola virus look like a skin rash.
Congratulations. I say destroy the cosmos, ask questions later.
Who are you?
This is just what they want. You're playing their game.
Then I'll play dirty.
You've been violated, girly man.
Use your armor!
Now stay sharp. The night is young.
Funny, he's our man. If you can't kill him, no, I can't. Yay, funny. S to the P to the A to the 1. S to the P to the A to the 1. Goes funny, goes funny.
Hello and welcome to Mad About Superheroes, Superhero Rewind. Today we hit the rewind button back to 1997 to check out the film adaptation of Image Comics' Spawn. The Todd MacFarlane creation debuted back in 1992 during the launch of independent comic company Image. Spawn's instant success put him in the spotlight with other iconic superheroes such as Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, and Batman. Incidentally, prior to Spawn, MacFarlane lent his artistic talents to the aforementioned titles during his freelance tenure at Marvel and DC Comics. His extremely detailed artwork was instrumental in driving their sales upward. Marvel's Amazing Spider-Man specifically was the title that MacFarlane left a distinctive mark on and established him a loyal fanbase. A fanbase that followed MacFarlane over to Image and made Spawn the hottest selling comic of the 1990s. Spawn is former government agent Al Simmons, who's betrayed and assassinated by his commanding officer, Jason Wynn. Al's dying wish to see his wife Wanda is granted by Malbosia, and he is resurrected. However, Al returns to the land of the living 5 years later as a reluctant warrior protecting the homeless that occupy the forgotten alleyways of New York City. As he seeks answers about his past, Spawn struggles with the dark forces that resurrected him to a happily remarried wife with whom he can never reunite. He learns to harness his extraordinary new power with the help of Cagliostro, and he begins to understand what brought him back and what he left behind. Todd MacFarlane came up with the concept for Spawn in his high school years. He has said that the character has pretty much remained the same from its initial concept to its comic book debut, which is probably why Spawn appears to be heavily influenced by Spider-Man, the Punisher, and Batman. Spawn's living costume is obviously influenced by Spider-Man villain Venom, a character MacFarlane co-created. That said, the concept of Spawn has always been intriguing, but its execution in both the 90s comics and the film leave a bit to be desired. MacFarlane's original run on Spawn was at best artistically visually stimulating, but at worst, story-wise, stagnant and lacked momentum. Although it didn't take long for MacFarlane to realize that his talent was as an artist and not a writer. Though MacFarlane continued to provide plots for the Spawn comic book, he decided to let those better suited to the task take over on the writing duties. Eventually, he would step down from artistic duties as well, when his attention was drawn elsewhere.
Spawn, Violator.
I hear the competition's flying around. They could be any place.
They're cool, awesome,
Tremor, Overkill, Medieval Spawn,
and they come with comics.
Nice toys, kids. Nice try, guys.
Spawn from Todd Toys. We're out to plaster the competition.
Don't get me wrong, objectively speaking, the early Spawn comics may have been all style over substance, but my teenage self bought what Todd was selling. He delivered a visual feast, and a lot of comic enthusiasts ate it up, myself included. I even bought a few of the action figures in the Spawn toy line back when MacFarlane Toys was called Todd Toys. A line of toys were put out based on the film.
Spawn Ultra Action Figures, each sold separately.
And a heavy metal soundtrack was also released featuring all the hot bands of the era. It's so 90s.
Spawn, the album. It's time.
A gritty Spawn animated series was also released prior to the movie that was aimed at a mature audience. Though they differ in many ways, the 97 Spawn film and the animated series follow the basic plot of the original comic. Which is the best interpretation is open for discussion, and a mere matter of opinion. However, I'd be hard-pressed to find anyone that cites the Spawn film as their favorite interpretation of the character. Spawn, directed by A.Z. DiPiazza, isn't the worst comic book movie out there. Not by a long shot. After all, Spawn was released the same year as Batman and Robin, the last nail in the coffin of the 90s era Bat franchise. Spawn's action sequences aren't half bad, but unfortunately, the film feels like a watered-down version of the source material. The basic elements are there, but they're executed poorly.
Damn.
The main focus seems to be on the visuals, which are hit or miss. The practical effects and makeup prosthetics are truly impressive and improve upon and honor the source material, but unfortunately, the film's CG effects aren't as up to par as the practical effects, even for the era it was released in. Unknown actor at the time, Michael Jai White, does a good job of portraying the tough yet confused, emotionally frustrated Al Simmons. White could have been even better given a more character-driven script. Since Spawn, White has gone on to roles in Universal Soldier: The Return, The Dark Knight, and a starring role in the hilarious comedy Black Dynamite. The makeup effects for the clown version of Violator are as equally effective as the makeup for Spawn's burnt face, and are both spot on in comparison to their comic book counterparts. Clown Violator was played extremely well by John Leguizamo, hot off his success of Carlito's Way and Romeo and Juliet. Leguizamo is as unrecognizable in the makeup as Clown as Colin Farrell as the Penguin in The Batman.
Someone's a little angry because they died and went to hello, my mutant, hello, my carcass, hello, my fucking fested corpse.
Did, like, Satan send you guys?
How come God hogs are full of good followers and we get all the retards?
A major difference between the movie and the original Spawn comics is the death of Al Simmons. In the comics, Al is killed by Chapel, but Chapel was unable to be used due to rights issues concerning the character. Chapel was created by artist Rob Liefeld for his Image Comics title, Youngblood. Just like Marvel and DC, Image was trying to establish a shared continuity with its characters, which created legal and financial concerns over Chapel appearing in the Spawn movie. So instead, he's killed by commanding officer Jason Wynn, played by seasoned actor Martin Sheen, and Wynn's bodyguard, Jessica Priest, who was created specifically for the film. Played by the lovely Melinda Clarke, Clarke gave an unforgettable performance in personal favorite film Return of the Living Dead 3. Jessica Priest was also incorporated into the Spawn comics continuity during the Curse of Spawn series. Jessica Priest is introduced as a mysterious femme fatale, a force to be reckoned with, or at least that's how she's set up. But after a brief shootout with Al, he easily kills her. I heard somewhere that Jessica Priest was supposed to come back like Al by the end of the film and be part of the final battle, but her resurrection was never shot due to budget restraints. However, the way she's set up in the film seems to support this claim. Cameos of Spawn Hunter Angela and police detectives Sam and Twitch are thrown in as a bit of fan service, but don't blink because you'll miss them. Not utilizing these fan favorites was a missed opportunity for sure. I would have liked to have seen an essential part for Angela, but unfortunately Angela is another character that raises its own unique rights issues as well. Angela was created by writer Neil Gaiman while writing Spawn comics. A legal battle over the rights to the character between MacFarlane and Gaiman went down, not only over the rights to Angela, but Medieval Spawn and Cagliostro as well, which were all introduced in issue 9 of Spawn, which Gaiman wrote. The legal battle went on for over 2 decades, but was eventually settled. The feud is ironic to begin with, because creator rights is the foundation Image Comics was built on. When a small band of artists, including MacFarlane, quit Marvel Comics and shook up the status quo, creating not only a stable of new heroes and villains, but a space artists and writers could go to where their talents weren't exploited. However, no such legalities are in play with Sam and Twitch, who were both created by Todd MacFarlane. So it would have been interesting to see more of them, maybe investigating some of the strange occurrences in the alleyway Spawn frequents, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. Spawn has a blend of horror, action, and drama with a superhero twist. The Spawn movie has trouble balancing the aforementioned elements, although to be fair, so did the early Spawn comics. It took time for the comics to develop, but a movie has to get it right, the first time, right out the gate. The action sequences are good, especially when Michael Jai White is showing off his martial arts prowess. Unfortunately, he's not given enough scenes that showcase his abilities. As mentioned, the practical effects are impressive, and John Leguizamo provides some fun comedy relief.
Violator 1, Spawny Boy 0. Yeah, 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 yeah. Huh. You've been violated, girly man, huh?
The drama in the movie isn't really focused on, specifically the love triangle between Al, his ex-wife Wanda, and his best friend Terry. And some cheesy sentimentality is forced in, with Al's dog Spaz, and a homeless kid named Zach, played by Miko Hughes, hot off his role in Wes Craven's A New Nightmare. The movie also tries to tug on our heartstrings with a tender moment with Al and Wanda's daughter Cyan. The film keeps it ambiguous whether or not Cyan is Al's kid, but it doesn't matter if she is or isn't. The fact is that Al's haunted by the life he lost and can never get back. Instead of bouncing around sentimentality with two kids, the focus should have been on Al's relationship with Cyan. But I digress. Though the CG effects used to create Malboja are terrible, he's voiced by legendary voice actor Frank Welker. Welker voiced tons of characters for decades, but a few personal favorites are Iceman on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Darkseid on the Superpowers team, and Megatron on G1 Transformers.
If you won't lead my army, then you must die.
And Todd MacFarlane cameos as a homeless person in the thick of the action and comes face to face with his own creation. For the most part, the Spawn movie aesthetically resembles its comic book counterpart. But in my opinion, a better translation of the source material is the HBO Spawn animated series. It both respects and greatly improves upon the Spawn comic books. The animated series also stays true to the origin of Spawn by featuring Chapel as Al's murderer, although it doesn't include any appearances or references to Rob Liefeld's Youngblood. A hard rated R Spawn reboot movie has been rumored for over 2 decades. Several years ago, Jamie Foxx was announced to be in the title role, and MacFarlane has made several claims over the years that a new Spawn film is coming. But unfortunately, nothing has to date materialized. Usually I'm against reboots when it comes to remaking a classic that was already good, like remaking RoboCop or The Crow. Certain movies don't need to be rebooted, but Spawn didn't quite hit it out of the park on its first swing. It's also been 25 years, so I'd like to see a new Spawn film on the big screen. Until that day comes, we'll just have to settle for the original. Despite its flaws, Spawn is definitely worthy of a rewatch from time to time, especially leading up to the Halloween holiday. If you enjoyed the content, please like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thanks so much for letting your geek flags fly with the Mad About Superheroes.